Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel. Emi Martinez of Aston Villa wants Manchester United, but do Manchester United want Emi Martinez? Some interesting updates as well. An opinion from Rio Ferdinand on Victor Osimhen. Also reports from Ornstein relating to Mbeumo and Ekitike. Get involved as usual. Have your say in the comments section and leave a like on today's video, please. First of all, let's start with Rio Ferdinand. He's saying that Victor Osimhen must be waiting for Manchester United. Now, is that just an opinion, do you think? Or do you think he's aware of something that's going on in the background at Manchester United?
I don't think he's aware of anything what's going on. I think it's an opinion. You know what he's like. He gives an opinion on lots of things. He's got lots of interest, not just a reporting things. He's out there in the media. So I think he's just giving an opinion. But to turn around and say he must be waiting for Man United to come, I mean, what have you got an agent for?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while now since the transfer window opened. So you'd think he's been linked here, there and everywhere, speculation, a lot. Waiting, I think I'd get my agent to go around and say, I want Man United. And I'm not seeing that. So for me, it's an opinion based on absolutely nothing. I mean, common sense tells you, get your agent. That's what he's there for. We see it all the time with all players, don't we? You know, you got Romano. He's always going out repeating what agents say. I'm looking at United for this player, and all that. So waiting. No, you don't wait in this game. You know what happens to those people what wait? They just get left on the wayside and they end up in the bin. And that's how I look at it. And I think it's just him just talking, to be honest with you.
Yeah, giving an overall opinion.
Yeah, he's giving an overall opinion for his people what watch him.
Yeah, but you can say about Victor Osimhen, the actual goal-scoring record, the CV that he's got, it's very good as a striker, and you'd think there'd probably be more speculation or more talks possibly with other clubs out there, apart from the likes of Al Hilal, and I've seen PSG mentioned. You know, why aren't Manchester United going for a player like Osimhen when we clearly need a centre-forward?
I think his background, there's been lots of reports about him falling out with Napoli and obviously getting moved to Galatasaray and all that, certain attitude problems and all that. And if that is the case, then United have probably looked at it and said to themselves, do we really need to bring in someone like that? But on the other side, people will say he does score goals, and that's what Man United want. So maybe Ferdinand's looking at that. Maybe he's just got a bee in his bonnet. I want Osimhen.
Yeah, I know he has actually compared him as well. From what I've heard as well, snippets comparing him to Gyökeres, that he prefer Osimhen over Gyökeres. But with Osimhen, I've not seen a lot of him at Galatasaray. I don't even know what TV station you'd actually start with to try and watch the football over in Turkey, to be honest with you. But again, Man United do need a striker. And for me, I think the actual stumbling block, more importantly, is the actual wages. He sounds like he wants some hefty wages, Osimhen, and in one case, you can't really blame him because a striker with his CV, you know, should be demanding some high wages though as well, shouldn't they?
Well, he was looking at going to Saudi Arabia, so his agent was working on his behalf and looking for a move. Why that's broke down, I've no knowledge of it. But if he's looking out there, then his agent's doing the work. Well, he's clearly not doing the work with Man United. So for me, it's a non-starter. I think United just don't want him. If they did want him, they've had plenty of time to go in there and ask a question, and they haven't.
Dates from David Ornstein as well, going on to Ekitike from Frankfurt. He said that Man United have made inquiries on Ekitike, but basically it's the job to do them inquiries anyway. And to be fair, I actually like that from him because he's quite right.
Yeah, well, they have to do their inquiries. It's a centre-forward they were looking at from the very beginning. You look at Liam Delap, that was a centre-forward, didn't get him, so they have other options. Ekitike is something they're looking at. They're exploring the deal. How far it's gone down the line, I don't know. But when you look at Ekitike, young lad, value for money, that's how United would see it going further down the line with the sell-on. And then when you look at Gyökeres, 27, you know, I compare it to the age, what the cost is and what the value is. And that's how I look at it from a Man United point of view. They just look at it from money. And there's nothing solid yet. They're just talking. And at least the talking, that's what you've got to say to yourself. They're out there doing the work. And fair enough.
He did also update on Brian Mbumo. Seems to be dragging on a little bit, but you can maybe understand some of it with Thomas Frank and all the negotiations with Brentford going over to Spurs. So maybe Mbumo got put on the back burner while Manchester United were basically having a chat to get a second bid prepared. But he is confident, Ornstein, that this deal will happen. And I think a lot of us out there has been confident that this deal will happen as well.
Yeah, I've got to say, I've been confident from the very minute, as soon as he heard that he wanted Man United. So for me, I'm not worried about this deal. Like you say, United are still exploring the deal. There's a lot of to-ing and fro-ing, and obviously that's down to money. How much, how many payments over a certain amount of time it's going to be done. But I've no worries about it. Very good chance the deal getting done, he says. Well, I think that just speaks for itself. The negotiations are going on. They're still carrying on. And the talk about Spurs coming in, there's nothing there as far as I'm concerned. They're not there yet with it, but I expect it to get over the line this week, to be honest with you. I did say last week I expected it by Friday. So for me, I've no worries about this. United are exploring it because it's down to the finances and how they do the payments. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I've got to call for a little bit of patience as well, not just on this deal, but maybe going for a striker as well. There's still plenty of time in this transfer window, but most importantly, there's still a bit of time as well until that first pre-season game against Leeds. But that would be the point for me personally, where I'd want them three signings in, Mbumo and a striker. I don't know about you yourself.
I've said all along, and lots of people have agreed with me, we need to get these players in, signed, settled in by the end of June, so then they've got a little bit of time to get used to their surroundings, and then take on the pre-season. I think it's absolutely for the club to get these players in, and the talk about Ruben Amorim wanting time with these players and having plenty of time over the summer and that. I think it's vital that they get him in by the end of June, and I think Mbumo will be in by the end of June and settled in. Then you just got to look at the striker. How quick is that going to get done? And I think that might go to the final whistle, to be honest with you, at the end of July, because it's the money, it's where it is. And I think lots of people now are understanding, right, there is no money, it's tight. So exploring for a striker, we get two players in, Kuna and Mbumo, and then a striker. But that striker is all about money, and that will take time. But yeah, whoever we get in has to be in early.
Yeah, no, of course, I do agree with that. And I think a lot of people out there see the actual sense in that, especially getting the 2 10s in and a striker before we start them pre-season games as well. But going on to some other news as well regarding Marcus Rashford, there's a lot of people out there putting, 2 and 2 together, hoping they get 4, because the Barcelona president has said that they're working on another really exciting signing, thinking that it's Marcus Rashford that could possibly be. Now,
well, it's all cryptic, isn't it?
Yeah, no, well, it's not cryptic. I mean, going off what the Barcelona president is saying, is they're working on another signing. Me personally, I do genuinely feel Marcus Rashford wants to move away from Manchester United. I don't get the sense that he just wants to sit at Manchester United next season and just pick up wages, whether he's in a squad or not. He genuinely wants to move and play football.
All the links to Barca, as far as I've seen. I've looked around, looked at it for a long time with Marcus Rashford. It's him and his agent doing all the pushing. Yes, they've had contacts and that, but Barca themselves, listen, they've got lots of problems, financials, so it doesn't make sense to me that they would go for Marcus Rashford. And it's Man United what want a fee, and plus the high wages. I don't believe that Barca really want Marcus Rashford. I think it's more the other way round. He's always put his everything into, I want Barca, it's my dream move and everything else like that. But I just look away, I just look at it and think to myself, Barcelona aren't in a financial healthy place, and the way they look at their players, young players, work together, hard working and everything, I don't see how they see Marcus Rashford fitting into that team. It's all Marcus Rashford led, as far as I'm concerned. So the links, it's all from Marcus Rashford's camp, not Barcelona. Why haven't they come out and said we're trying to work on a deal and use his name? They're not. They're playing games, and it's all cryptic messages, as far as I'm concerned, between both camps.
Yeah, Barcelona president did also say a lot of obstacles have been put in our way, but we have managed to overcome them. So, if they have overcome them obstacles, if they are financial obstacles, like, we should hopefully see some news in the near future regards to
Hope
Barcelona
so.
opening up talks with Manchester United for Rashford. But like I say, I do expect Marcus Rashford to leave. I don't expect him to go back to Aston Villa on loan like he was last season. I think he was just using that more of a stopgap or a stepping stone to try and get a bigger club that he wants in his eyes. So
My
for me
personal
personally, I think Rashford will get that move before the transfer window shuts. And hopefully it's on a permanent actual deal because we do need some money coming into the club.
my personal thoughts on it before we move on is like,
Mm.
I think we're going to struggle to get rid of Marcus Rashford, to be perfectly honest with you. And I think he's going to struggle to get any option what he prefers.
News on Martinez as well, that he's made it clear he's interested in signing for Manchester United, as Aston Villa have refused to rule this out also. But as you're looking further down there, it could take close to £40 million to sign him. And Martinez, I think his contract runs out in 2029, so Aston Villa are well within the rights to demand a fee like that for their goalkeeper.
Well, it's clear Martinez wants United from all the reports what we've read. They're out there for people to see. But we all know what the problem is. Good goalkeeper, no two ways about it. And he would be an upgrade on Onana. But that's where the problem is. Where does Onana go? How much did he sell him for? Does anyone really want him? So there is no space, as far as I'm concerned, for Martinez to come in, because I do believe United want to keep Onana. But Martinez, would it be an upgrade? Of course he would, and I'd like to see him coming here. But for me, I put me words on the line that Onana, Man United want to keep him, and that's how it looks to me, regardless of a good goalkeeper wanting to come to United, because United would struggle. I mean, who?
You think Manchester United want to keep Onana?
No, they're going to keep him.
Yeah, going to
Right?
keep him and wanting him is two different things.
They're going to keep him for this season, and hopefully, with the change of system, with players coming in and everything, they hope he will improve, just like other players will improve. They want Ruben Amorim to improve the players they've got, and Onana, he's staying, as far as I'm concerned, and all the reports out there about Man United, they're not looking to sell him. That is your problem.
Yeah, I don't think Manchester United want to keep
No.
Andre Onana. I think it's more or less because of the wages. His actual form for United in general has not been good. So is there going to be any other clubs out there, that are going to be paying some of his wages or paying his wages in full for a loan or even a permanent deal this summer? I just don't see it. So I think that's why Andre Onana will be in goal for Manchester United next season. And to be honest with you, let's hope that there's going to be better performances from Onana.
Fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah, Jadon Sancho as well, that Man United will give priority to selling Sancho on a permanent deal before opening doors to loans. I mean, Napoli are keen, and it just goes back to the same thing with Sancho and other players as well. I must say, it's the wages.
Yeah, it's the wages. United want a sale. They're not going to get it, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's just a loan deal. Sancho himself, you just look at it, he refused to lower his wage demands with Chelsea. That's who he is. So for me, I think Chelsea, he should have gone to Chelsea, lowered his wage demands. But if he's not going to lower his wage demands for Chelsea, he's not going to lower them going anywhere else. So all you're going to get here is a loan deal. Yes, United prefer to sell him, right? They've got to say that. But I'll tell you what, I look at Sancho and I say to myself, he's going out at the end of the transfer window on a loan deal anywhere, and United will just be like happy to get him off the books, and they'll have to pay.
Yeah, I know with Sancho, I mean, it's the club's fault for paying these players these kind of extortionate wages. And, on one side of the coin, you got to look at it. Would you give up them wages that he's being paid week in, week out? I mean, just for me personally, I mean, the way Chelsea played last season, won a trophy, they're in the Champions League next season. I thought that would be a really good fit for Sancho himself, back in London where he's grew up, that sort of area. I mean, playing for Chelsea as well in European competition. And me, if I was wanting to prove myself, I'd have took the hit. on the wages and gone a little bit lower than what I am on at Manchester United to prove yourself. And at the end of the day in football, if a player goes out and proves themselves and actually competes and actually does the business at clubs, the money genuinely follows. So he's a young lad as well. He's around about 25 years of age. So if he genuinely believes in himself as a professional, as a footballer, I mean, them wages that he's currently on, he could get back to or even more at some point in the future if he actually genuinely believed in his football ability.
Well, this is the thing.
Chelsea's a good club for me at the moment right now.
Listen, a lot of people out there, they know. What does he want? Well, it's clear what he wants. He wants his money. He's not interested in his own, like, going for trophies, going to win the league, being the best at playing football, improving and all that. He's on a contract. That's what he wants. He should have stayed at Chelsea and he should have lowered his wage demands. But that tells you all about the man. And it's not just him. There's many other players, not just at United, who have got the same attitude. Unfortunately, the way contracts are given out, United, again, are just dumped with a player and a problem. Let's hope that the people in charge, the men in suits, realise and sort out, going forward, contracts, that this doesn't happen again. But do you know what? Got a funny feeling it will.
I mean, at the moment, we just want to see players moved out of the door and for preferably a transfer fee instead of loan deals to then give us a little bit of optimism, a bit of hope, positivity that we can bring in more than 3 players in this summer transfer window. But let us know what your thoughts and opinions are on what we've discussed today on, Victor Osimhen, Rio Ferdinand's opinion on Jadon Sancho, Rashford, Ekitike, and Mbumo, and also Emi Martinez. He wants Manchester United, but do Manchester United want Emi Martinez? Thanks for joining us today. Bit of a Manchester United news roundup. Get involved, have your say in the comments section, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.